Hey everybody, so it's been a while since I did a vlog. It's been a while since I did a video. The last video I did was about making fat wood, which I didn't show you guys the fat wood in use, and that's bad on me. The video was already kind of long, and I just wanted to kind of get it done and over with, so I apologize for that. But I do plan on making a video showing it working, and also a different way of making fire starter that Irish USMC vet did with candle wax, but I think can also be done with sap. One thing I didn't do in the video as much as I would like, I mean, I showed it, you know, processing the sap and cleaning it and, you know, making it nicer. So when I do make this next video with the different fire starter method, it'll be clean, and I'll definitely address that. Anyway, other things that I've been doing. I've been casting my own bullets, which is really cool. I've been having a good time with that. I still need a few things. I'm kind of doing it redneck version right now, where it's just a ladle cast, because I wanted to get one of those Lee 420 pots, the 20-pound pots, bottom pour. Those things are freaking awesome. I would love to have one, but 700 watts of electricity to heat that lead up in order to melt it. That's a lot of watts. And being completely on solar power, could my system handle it? Yes. Would it, you know, better be a sunny day, and we better already be kind of at float, because it's as long as I don't have anything else on, it should be fine. If I have a lot of other things on, as long as I have full batteries, it should be fine, because, you know, I'd only be using it for an hour or so a day. Well, an hour or so per use. But I don't know. I go back and forth on whether I should get one or not. So right now I'm just ladle casting, and I got a 2-cavity mold, which I kind of wish I had gotten a bigger cavity, or, you know, more cavity mold than that, because, you know, I screw up, and I have a lot of screw ups, or at least I did for quite a while before I kind of figured it out. And it's a lot of work for only 2 projectiles per cast. Other things with the garden, the rabbits ate all that, so we have some chicken wire en route. We bought it online because chicken wire local is expensive, so we found some good prices online. I'm getting that hopefully next week, and then we'll be able to put a fence around our garden so the rabbits don't eat all of our vegetables out there. However, the potatoes that my wife was growing in that laundry basket are amazing. So I should definitely show you guys that later on. Can't right now, because right now I'm in Phoenix, Scottsdale technically, at the Dillon Precision, you know, reloading shop. Yet again, I gotta get me a swager so that I can swage some of these 223 primer pockets. I thought about casting 223, you know, there's a couple molds out there that are really good, and supposedly pretty accurate. You can get them up to like 2,500 feet per second, which is moving for cast lead, as long as you powder coat them. However, I've been watching a lot of Johnny's Reloading Bench and a few other reloading channels, and Johnny's Reloading Bench had found a projectile from Bob's Bullets for a really good price. I forget exactly how much it is off the top of my head, but it's really good price. In fact, it's so good, I might just go ahead with that instead of trying to cast my own. It's a lot of work for the amount of savings per projectile. I don't know if it'd be worth it. I'm gonna have to do the math on that though, because, you know, casting around for pistol, it's gonna all be different weights. Each bullet's going to be a little bit different weight, which is okay with pistol, but when you get into rifle, you want to get more accurate, you know. And if it's just a plinking round, then why not, you know, spend an extra penny or 2 per projectile. I don't even think it's that. I think it's like, yeah, I think it's like 1 or 2 pennies per projectile savings if I did all the work myself. So I don't know if that's worth it. Oh, by the way, I'm going to put a picture in here of my cast bullets. So that's what they kind of look like. It's pretty cool, right? And then I went ahead and got some hardware cloth, which is not cloth at all. It's metal mesh, right? And made a little basket off of Elvis Ammo suggestion for powder coating, right? And I watched his videos on powder coating. I'm like, wow, that seems really easy. This ultra low heat method that he has, which I'm gonna do a video on, I think. And Loads of Bacon is a subscriber of his and watches all of his videos and has his own videos where he tries to powder coat projectiles as well. And he tried to emulate Elvis Ammo's technique, but he couldn't get it right. And I don't know, I don't see the problem. I got it right like the first try. Well, the first try was a little bit undercoated, and I think I just didn't mix it long enough. And what you're seeing there is Harbor Freight Red. I also have Harbor Freight Black, but I haven't used the black yet because I haven't made a whole bunch of projectiles yet. I think I didn't count them, but I'm guessing it's a couple hundred. So yeah, I'm planning on making a video about powder coating. Probably make it a video response to Elvis Ammo, or tag him, or let him know that, you know, hey, you helped me out in Loads of Bacon. I don't know what you're doing wrong, but it's not that hard. So that brings me to the next topic, is YouTubers how-to videos. You know, I love YouTube. I've always loved YouTube for the fact that you can find out how to do something via YouTube. I learned how to fix my my window originally a few months ago when the motor went out from YouTube. I learned how to cast bullets from YouTube. I made a tumbling composter from Homestead Economics video, and you know, there's a few other things that I've been doing from YouTube videos, right? And that's the great thing about YouTube, in my opinion. So I'm gonna probably make some videos on doing other people's DIYs, and the reason why I decided to do that was because of the tumbling composter. That thing looks pretty cool, and it works pretty good so far. I mean, I haven't gotten complete compost yet, but it's only been, you know, like a month or so, and I think it takes a little bit longer than that. And then you got to add your greens and your browns, and there's a little bit of learning curve. I'm also doing like a little worm farm thing in a styrofoam container with some peat moss and some I think a little bit of soil, and then obviously some kitchen scraps, but they take forever. So we do a little bit there, but most of our compost we're putting in the tumbler and hoping that works out pretty well. All right, this time I am going to ask them if I can film a little bit inside Dillon. So hopefully they will allow it, and you'll get to see a little bit inside of the store. But I'm going to go ahead and get on in there and get my stuff.
So they're hard to tell. If you're shooting one gun, it's bolt action, it's easy. If you're shooting multiple guns and they're all semi-automatic, every chain is kind of different. And that just shows standing minimum. Ours is just removable, so you don't have to worry about it.
I don't ever recall taking it off. So
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know it's there, but always safe if you put in little Ziploc bags. If you ever run a heavy bullet, those are like $18 little carbide expander balls. So keep it in case you do like a flat base bullet down the line somewhere.
okay.
But it's easy.
So
You
I shot
can like the Sierra Max teams, all the 50, most of the 55 ring, you know, full metal jacket. Are you running the expander ball in the die when you're loading? Because on our dies, and this one doesn't have it because we.
It's a 550B.
But there's a little carbide expander between the decapping pin and the upper bolt on these. Kind of between here and here, there's a carbide ball. And what that does, it expands the neck about 4 to 5 thousandths, between 4 and 5 thou. So when you go to seat a bullet, it's easier to seat in there. But if you don't crimp, because you're expanding the neck so much, you really have to crimp a lot to get the tension back to the neck of the case. So most times, if we're using a boat tail shaped bullet, you know, it has a little bit of a chamfer at the end of it.
Yeah.
We recommend removing that carbide expander, so you're not expanding the neck, you don't have to bring it back as much. Because even if you don't put any crimp on and you don't expand, usually it won't fail that.
Okay, so he was okay with me filming a little bit. I didn't film a whole bunch, but basically got to see the store, right? And the Super Swager 600 is what I got. It's kind of big and in a box, so I'll probably show you that a little later. But I did buy a couple other things while I was in there. They have really good deals on some powder. Actually, I didn't realize, I guess I didn't even look last time. But I might be buying some powder from them in the future. They have Tight Group, and then they had this other one he recommended for 223 that you use less powder, and it's actually like $160 for the 8-pound bottle of it. I don't know what that means it is for the 1 pound, but $160 is about $20 less than most other powders. Most powders are like $180, $188 for 8 pounds. Anyway, this is the other thing I bought. This is a case feeder plate for my hopper on the Dillon XL 650. So I won't have to put in each case individually anymore. I can just throw a whole bunch in the hopper and this will automatically feed them. So that's going to be a quality of life improvement. Now also, I told him that I'd lost some of these pins for my primer feeder, where you put the primers in. It has these little cotter pins, so he threw, you know, quite a few of these little cotter pins in for free, which, I mean, most companies probably would do that for free because it's not much, but it's not the first time. There was another time that I had busted my decapping pin for 9mm, and it was my fault, and they replaced it for free as well. Anyway, the other thing I bought is this little thing right here. I'm going to take it out and then show you, but this is a deburring and chamfering tool, and yes, the word is called chamfering, and I'm learning this word very well now, because apparently it's not about expanding the neck, it's about deburring the inside of the neck. So that reminds me of something. Another reason why I don't really want to cast my own 223 rounds is because you have to expand the neck of the 223 case. Now, originally I thought that was what was considered chamfering, but it's not. And in order to do that, you need like a Lee universal flaring die. And that's just another step I don't know if I want to do. Plus, you know, 223, I've never heard of anybody flaring the neck of the case except for Elvis Ammo, who flares his for his cast bullets. And getting yet another die and having yet another step, because we don't have enough steps as it is to prep our brass, is just another reason why a penny extra per projectile, I think I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't really save much money on rifle rounds anyway. It's really the pistol rounds that's going to save the money, right? So the 9mm saves me about 50% of what I can buy it for in the store, and I do plan on getting into 45 relatively soon, and 50% of what it's in the store if I buy bullets already made that are jacketed. If I cast my own, which I am doing now for 9mm, it's like 25% of the total cost. So it's like 75% less than what you could buy it for in the store, which really adds up after a while. Anyway, I wanted to show you this chamfering and deburring tool. Kind of looks like a little spaceship rocket. It's like $20, which in Dillon, you know, anything in Dillon that's $20 is a pretty good deal. So this is a pretty decent deal. When I was looking online for these, they were about that price. So I'm pretty impressed that, you know, I was able to get something like this at Dillon for 20 bucks. Anyway, that's all I got for you from this location, but I will show you what the Super Swager 600 looks like after I unbox it. Apparently it comes with both large and small primer pocket expanders to take out, the military crimp in brass, which I have a lot of military brass for 5.56, 223 stuff, and I do have some, or did have some for 9mm that basically had to throw away those cases. It wasn't a whole bunch though for 9mm, so it wasn't a huge deal, but when you hear that crunch of that primer going in and then you take it out and inspect it and you see the deformation of that primer and think, holy crap, I can't believe that didn't pop. Yeah, I'm gonna be swaging a lot. But it comes with the small and the large, which is kind of nice. I don't need the large right now. Eventually I will reload for 45, but I've never heard of a 45 having a military crimp. I could be wrong. And I do eventually plan on reloading for 308, as I'm planning on getting into that cartridge. So anyway, I will show you what it looks like. Alright, so here I have my nickel brass, my 223 nickel brass. And of course it's already deprimed. But this is the Dillon Super Swage 600 all set up. And in fact, I've already set it up to the correct swage, I believe, at least for these. I did set it up with regular brass cases, and I had it pretty dialed in, I thought, for this. But then when I went to swage one of these and put in a primer, it was extremely way too easy to put that primer in. So I backed it off quite a bit. There was actually quite a bit of pressure on the other ones when I would lower the handle, and I don't think that was supposed to be like that. So luckily I used more of these brass ones to ruin and test before I started with these nickel plated brass that I have for the Kansas Hillbilly Prepper project. One thing I've noticed though is that this does wiggle quite a bit, and apparently that's a common thing for the 223 cartridge. So I have to be extra careful because I've already ruined a case or two where the swager didn't go in the primer pocket properly and created a big problem. So you just kind of have to be careful with that. If it doesn't want to go, you know, give it a little jiggle and then go down. And that right there should be swaged. And let's see if I can show this on camera. Alright, so you can kind of make it out. It's a little bit shiny around the mouth of where the primer goes in. And that's all I did, is I just made it a little shiny. You can kind of still see the ring in there, but it's just enough to where the primer seats in there pretty nice without, you know, worrying about it crunching. So do a couple more. It's kind of hard to do this one-handed. And at some point I'll get the tripod in here and set up and do this properly. There we go. Yeah, there's not much resistance, if at all, when it goes in the actual hole. Which makes me think that these maybe didn't need to be swaged, but then I tried to put in a primer without swaging it, and I didn't like that too much. So I am going to go ahead and swage all these. There's about 250 of them, and it's just a really small swage, and just enough to make those primers seat in there real nice. If you have any questions about this, though, feel free to ask. I'm pretty new to it myself, but I do know some other people who've had this quite a while that might be helpful if you do have a question about this super swager. But today's been an interesting day. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. It's been fun to make. But today, while outside here, my mom was going to do some laundry or go into the laundry room. Right here is the laundry room. And on the ground here, we had a couple boards that I was going to use to make something with, but I hadn't gotten around to it. This big long board right here was actually laying a little bit on this board right here, so there was a little bit of a gap underneath it. Well, she heard a rattle, and it's our first experience. I'm sure it won't be our last, but yes, our first rattlesnake. It was a kind of a small one. So she came in the house, because I was in the house, and she got me, and I got the old double barrel shotgun out, which was in one of the other videos you've seen. It's a 20 gauge, I think. Yeah, 20 gauge. Sorry about the wind. But I shot it. The first shot tore him in half, unfortunately. I didn't get a clean shot on the first shot, but the second one got him. This board was up against the wall. The snake was actually right about where this board is. He was right about in this area here. So as you can see, kind of splattered a little bit of blood there. In fact, let's see if I can find. Yeah, I believe that right there is where the first shot was. And I didn't break the glass, which was here the whole time, which I was very surprised by. But it did splatter blood all over this wall. And as I said, the first shot only cut him in half, and he actually threw him to where this hole is back here. And so he was in that hole there, half alive, and still very deadly. There's even blood on this chair. Still very deadly, so I went ahead and hit him with the other one, and the other one actually connected. After it was all over, I thought, man, I should have videotaped that, or had my mom hold the camera or something, but I don't know. I'm not horribly excited about killing animals, although rattlesnakes are kind of, especially that one, that was really close to the house, and kind of a baby. Needed to be dealt with. So anyway, I thought I'd show you the aftermath anyway, so if you're squeamish, you know, stop the video here. But if you want to see what's left of the rattlesnake after 2 bird shots of 20 gauge shotgun looks like, stay tuned. Now I went ahead and put him in this bucket because I didn't really know what else to do with him, but there he is. Still got his rattle. Alright. And there's his head. The second shot actually cut him right on the neck, right below the head. That's where the second shot was. And the first shot was actually right there. So he was still very much alive and kind of confused what the hell just happened when I shot him the first time, and kind of wish it had been a cleaner shot, but it's what happened. It's not much of a snake. He's kind of small, so I'm not really going to do anything with him. I might go ahead and keep the rattle just because it's easy, but everything else is pretty tore up and not much left. Anyway, that's all I got for you. It was an interesting day. It was an interesting weekend. That's when I got the super swage and I went to Dillon. I got everything I need for reloading 223, I believe now. So I'm going to contact Kansas Hillbilly Prepper's daughter, see if and when she's planning on coming out. If it's going to be a long way from now, I think I'm going to ask her just to send me the ashes so I can go ahead and get that started, because it is going to take a little bit in order to do that. Anyway, guys, as I said, that's all I got for you. Thank you very much for watching the video, and God bless. See you in the next one.